A canoe represents a purpose built for well-being. Talofa Mose. My name is John Misky, and I am of Tokelauan and Samoan descent. I've been a part of this Pororo community from when I was 6 years old when I arrived here from the islands. It was different. I no longer spoke Tokelauan, or I couldn't hear the language being spoken as much because it's now English, of course. And going to school, I had to learn English. My knowledge around sailing in Tokelau, I remember sailing with my dad as a little kid, and at that time one of the sounds that you heard every day was the old men and their ads. They were still sailing canoes and they were still carving canoes. So that's my childhood memories of canoe. Back in 2008, I went to Samoa, and it was around Christmas, and at that time in Samoa, the Samoan Voyaging Society was just developing, and in 2009 we came to Auckland for a Voyaging Society meeting of the Pacific. And through that, I got an opportunity to sail around the Pacific on Te Mano Te Moana in 2010, 11, and 12. So that is how I got my sailing background. On a personal note, in terms of Le Tava'a, it's a project that I've been working on over the last 3 years, and it's a promise I made to my grandma back in 2003 when grandma was still alive. She passed away in 2005, and I wasn't able to fulfill my promise to her. My first canoe I built in 2004 when grandma was still alive, and then when she passed and things happened, that canoe didn't eventuate, and then I tried again. After I came back from my voyage, I tried again, and that didn't eventuate. And then in 2014, I tried again, and again it didn't eventuate. So in Christmas 2016, I tried for one more time because I was about to give up. But this time, the only thing I did different was I went to engage. I told my mum we need to go to see the minister to come and bless this project. This also is part of the building of the va'a process, because it's not you by yourself. You're not building this in isolation. This is what it's about now, why I'm doing this, building this canoe, is to fulfill a promise I made to grandma. In terms of the parts of the va'a, you have a hull, which is the body of the canoe. Traditionally, it was carved, and the hull of the va'a has a keel, which is like the foundation on which the whole canoe is built on. And then it's lashed. The lashing of the canoe is very, very important. The biggest emphasis on that is safety, because the lashing connects all the different parts of the canoe. It holds everything together. If you didn't lash it properly and you went out and you were sailing out and the lashing came apart, that's how important it is. The saying goes, you lash that canoe and build the canoe like your life depended on it, because it did. When you went out to the ocean, you had to make sure you returned. Otherwise, you're on a one-way trip.
Kila kiluma. Taunuku. 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 Tokelau.
You have cross beams that come across off that, which is the kiato. And then those cross beams are then lashed to a spoke that is driven into the ama to be held there. And the ama, of course, represents what the balance is of. It balances the canoe. In a way, it also represents. It can represent your father on your Samoan side, and your mother on your Tokalaan side. So it can represent who you are as a person, and the canoe is the balance of who you are. Traditional sails are made of pandanus leaf. It's woven together. And again, this is where the canoe, in terms of building a canoe, is not just about the men. It's also the women who weave the sail. So it's that working partnership and relationship where the women have their work as well as the men, but put together onto a canoe. It's a, like I said, it's a craft built for a purpose. And the sail itself represents propulsion going forward, because that's what catches the wind and helps push the canoe forward. It's going to be special when that time comes. It's going to be very special. It means I'm very, very close to the finish line. And the finish line, of course, would be taking the canoe out and testing everything and make sure it's safe, from the sail to the lashing, to the balance, to the ama, to the kiatos, and making sure everything is safe. That for me then is the finishing line. It means I've built this canoe safely for everyone. It's a metaphor for how you move forward. It's an icon of an oceanic peoples of the Pacific. It represents cultures, it represents languages, it represents traditions, it represents knowledge, and it represents family and connections. And so the support of my family and the community, I have no words to describe how important that is as part of my build. I'm encouraged by the fact that we have guys like you, the Polynesians, Māoris, working in these environments, in these places, and helping us as Polynesians, as Pacific Islanders, as Māoris, in terms of developing strategies. So to the council, I would say, in a sense, you guys are builders as well. You're building this canoe for a voyage. And in saying that, what would this canoe look like? What would the kio look like? What would the kiato represent? What would the ama represent? Because all those different parts, what would the lashing represent? in building your Pacific strategies. So these are very, very, very important questions to ask yourselves in building your craft. In that sense, it helps to share the knowledge. And so that's where I'd like to leave off, and thank you for this time.
Kikila tu te langi Natamamata elua Mama la tele E penina ngingila iloto E pui pui loto ha, ha.